Hello, welcome to Algorithms. Today we are going to discuss about cybersecurity reference architecture. This reference architecture is basically one of the architecture provided by Microsoft for Azure and on-premise environment. So as we all know that cyber attacks are commonplace, means they can have a massive impact on organizations as well as their customers, partners, employees, and the bottom line. Many organizations are finding it hard to reconcile the level of their cybersecurity innovation investment with the cyber resilience outcomes for their business. Now, in some cases, they are choosing the wrong strategy to invest in cybersecurity technologies, and that is costing organizations far more than just a waste of cash. It can damage an organization's brand, reputation, and future prosperity. Now, after working with some of the customers, we realized that investment in security innovation is growing, and basic security hygiene is better. The number three is security success masks hidden threats. Security cost rises are unsustainable, and then in certain cases security investments are failing as well. Now, why this is happening? Because they don't have, or in some of the cases they don't have a proper framework, means it is more of a reactive response. So the reason behind having a security reference architecture and then having a deep knowledge about it and then moving to a target state is to make sure that we move along a path which is more success bound, or which creates successful outcomes for the organization. So as I go to slide number 1, where it exhibits cyber attack categories by region, you see this is taken from the internet. You see that in all categories, whether it is global, Americas region, EMEA, or APAC, mobile is the topmost categories. Means attackers are finding this as a spot for accessing the organization's assets. Now, when we look at the cybersecurity landscape, we know that there are different forms of adversaries, means spies, hackers, crackers, and so on and so forth, and they create different types of threats. It's a phishing, spyware, adware, viruses, social engineering, credential theft, wireless attacks, vulnerabilities, ransomware, and through these they find a place in your security system or security perimeter, and they get to your assets. Okay, now what we need to do in order to secure the perimeter, basically at the end of the day we want to ensure that our assets, our company assets, are secure. So what are the 5 different areas that we need to look at from the reference architecture perspective? So infrastructure is number 1. Number 2 is endpoints and mobiles. Number 3, identities. Number 4, data. And number 5 is security operations. Now, when we look at the Microsoft cybersecurity reference architecture, one of the key important point is it is not just for the cloud environment. So if you have on-premises data center, you can utilize the same security reference architecture for both cloud as well as on-premise. And if you have used a tool like Security Center, Azure Security Center, when you log in, means there are different ways. What you can do is you assess your cyber security score or security score, and then you drill down further to figure out what are the areas where you need to strengthen. But that is more of an operational score. If you would like to have a comprehensive assessment of the security maturity, then you need to go obviously beyond that point, beyond just couple of tools. You need to talk to people, you need to talk to your cybersecurity experts, your business experts, your strategy experts, IT team, in order to figure out, okay, what do you have now and what are your business plans for the future to have a right cybersecurity strategy and the tools so that it fulfills your future needs as well. Now, this reference architecture is kind of complete in itself. If you look at identity and access, means all federated identities are covered, which now is like B2B, Azure AD B2B, Azure AD B2C, and then when we look at the unmanaged and mobile devices, those are covered as well. What they have done, they have included IoT infrastructure as a part of that security reference architecture, because things are growing. In last 2 years, they have added several components as a part of architecture in order to make sure that the complete environment is secure. So all the Microsoft services, all the Microsoft product within the cloud as well as on premises are taken care using these tools. Now, if you really like to look at a specific configuration specific to securing privileged access, Office 365 security, and rapid cyber attacks, so you can go to those links which are given in the roadmap and guidance, or you can search on Google. You get to exact same document, and you can have a look at it. Now there are it's very comprehensive. It is not possible to go through all different components in one presentation, so I have decided to cover it in a series of presentations. So I will be talking more about different parts of hybrid cloud infrastructure from the client side, from the information protection, software as a service, what are the different options available, and then the security operations center, what are the tools like Azure Sentinel you might be aware of, security API, graph security API, which is now available with the Microsoft reference architecture, as well as the services, advanced threat protection, privileged identity management that comes along with the Azure AD, P1 and P2 licenses, so on and so forth. So I'll be discussing more around those topics and how to secure your infrastructure and other important aspects of your IT assets and business assets. Now, how to use this reference architecture? If you already have a template or capabilities within your organization, that is a good starting point to compare it with this reference architecture. So have your IT security team, or whether it belongs to business, have them look at this reference architecture, compare it with the core capabilities from the security standpoint that your organization is using, compare both of them, and then based upon your assessment, what are the priorities of the security projects that you have within the organization. You can just spot those items or mark those items within this reference architecture and then create a roadmap based on that. Same with the integration, because just having means, so there are different dimensions to security, and integration is one of the very important aspect which is emerging as we have more and more APIs, and how we secure those APIs has become an important question to be addressed by enterprise architects as well as the solution architects, and then the security architects have to figure out a way to execute it. So integration should not be left out. Microsoft has given graph API integration that can be used along with the APIs to secure to further strengthen your APIs. Now, from the configuration and execution perspective, we will be covering it in further presentations. But for now, it is just to give you a high level idea of how it looks like. Now, if you have any questions on the cybersecurity framework, or if you would like to have somebody walk in and help you with the cybersecurity maturity assessment, we have developed a couple of maturity frameworks which are very specific to industry vertical. For instance, we have developed one for finance, one for energy sector. So if you feel the need of having someone or consultants to review your environment, don't hesitate to just drop us an email. If it is a small review or assessment, we do it for free. But if it is a big environment, then obviously means it depends upon how long it takes to perform the assessment. But overall, 2 4 hours discussion means we are always open to have a discussion and help our customers. So if you have any questions, drop us an email or ping me anytime. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.